Well, let's get some more insight and analysis on this from Dr. Charl van Loo-Ehrenberg. He's joining us, of course, from Johannesburg. He's the Regional Medical Director at International SOS. Welcome to the show, Doctor. Now, the plague is an annual occurrence in Madagascar. What exactly makes this one so concerning?
Great question to start with. Hello. You're quite right. It is an annual occurrence, up to about 400 cases, if I'm not mistaken, annually. This particular one, we're interested for two specific reasons. One is the cases have been predominantly around the capital, the urban areas, and the wetter eastern parts, which is not normal. Normally, it's been in the dry, rural parts of Madagascar, and obviously the caseload. So it's affected a significantly greater number of people. As you correctly said earlier, we're looking at north of 1,300 cases at the moment, with approaching 10% fatalities on that one.
Now, Doctor, what kind of international response is required to ensure that this outbreak does not spread any further?
Again, given the fact that we understand this disease well, and maybe even though it has a scary name and a scary, rightfully so, place in history, maybe not quite as intimidating as the viral hemorrhagic fevers that we experienced some time back in West Africa. So the containment of spread is about understanding the bacteria and understanding how the disease is spread, courtesy of little fleas that live on rodents, which is a controllable pest, and also the people-to-people spread, which is also something we can understand and manage. How are countries getting involved in controlling the spread? It's really around educating people so that they have an awareness of the disease and how it can be spread. And two, there's a significantly improved and increased vigilance around screening of international travelers. So travel from Madagascar to the countries that you named earlier, and to any country for that matter, are carefully screened as of now, and patients, or people rather, are being monitored for increased temperatures, which is one of our early lead indicators of a possible infection.
And on that note, can you tell us a little bit more about the plague? What are its symptoms, and certainly how is it treated?
So it's, as we said, it's caused by a bacteria with a rather unusual name, Yersinia pestis, and it presents in a number of forms. And these forms really give us clues as to what those symptoms and signs might be. The most common form is actually bubonic plague, which is where the bacteria infection transmitted from this little flea, which has bitten an infected rodent, usually an urban rat. That infection is transmitted into the body, and it sits predominantly in the lymph nodes, or the glands, as many viewers might understand, so armpits and groin area, and it presents with fever, general weakness and malaise, person not feeling well, and these heavily swollen lymph nodes, which can be extremely painful. That condition, if not treated, has got a significant complication rate and fatality rate attached to it. The other form of the disease, or the other main form, is pneumonic plague, or lung-related. And that's probably why this outbreak is a little scary as well, because the bulk of the cases, about 3/4, have been pneumonic plague in Madagascar. And what makes pneumonic plague scary is that the infection develops quite quickly. Form of a cold or influenza. In this case, it's a bacterium, not a virus, which leads us on to the last part of your question around, can we treat it? Absolutely we can, and thank goodness we can. So Yersinia pestis responds to a fairly simple antibiotic, which is widely and universally available, relatively easily available, and the antibiotics can be used both to treat the infection if we identify the patient in time, been in proximity to cases can safely be treated, and that is ultimately our method of controlling the spread.
Well, many thanks for that update, Doctor.